Hi, I'm Jill Arnold from CesareanRates.com, and this is a very brief video on how cesarean rates are reported. So the first of three ways in which C-section rates are reported is voluntarily by hospitals to the Joint Commission. The cesarean rate specifically for low-risk first-time women was first endorsed by the National Quality Forum in 2008. And this measure takes into account first-time moms only with a single baby at term in the head-down position. So this is a quality measure, and a decrease in this rate is considered to be an improvement in quality. And the following quote comes from the verbiage of the measure. Hospitals with C-section rates at 15 to 20% have infant outcomes that are just as good and better maternal outcomes. There are no data that higher rates improve any outcomes, yet C-section rates continue to rise. So another way in which rates are reported is via the new birth certificate. Only 31 states are currently using the new birth certificate, which gives the opportunity to report on some very specific details of labor, risk factors, maternal health, etc. Cesarean rates are also reported via AHRQ's Inpatient Quality Indicators, or IQIs. The IQIs rely on hospital administrative data only, so no clinical data, and they show how often procedures are used and inpatient mortality for certain procedures. And they can also be used to address questions of overuse, underuse, misuse, volume, stuff like that. And one more place that rates can be found is in HCUP's state inpatient databases, which consist of data files from 44 participating states and contain all hospital discharge records. So what are the pluses and minuses of these three ways of reporting C-section rates, or four ways of reporting C-section rates? Well, the Joint Commission's PCO2 reporting set contains risk-adjusted data, and that means that they control for maternal characteristics, which allows for better comparisons between hospitals, so you can actually make kind of those apples-to-apples comparisons. They contain administrative and clinical data, and where they stand out is that they can really illuminate practice variation and subjectivity in clinical decision-making. So it shows differences between doctors and differences between hospitals. The problem is that it's voluntary to report on them, and so therefore, as you can probably guess, about 5% of hospitals actually voluntarily report on this. It's not just as easy as creating like a spreadsheet and submitting it. It does require some analysis, and that costs money, and people obviously don't like to spend money. So, hospital discharge data has many benefits. It's considered to be more reliable than physician or patient reported data. It's inexpensive to use, and it's great for looking at patterns of procedure utilization in large populations and across geographic regions. It's more widespread stuff, but the problem is that they only contain administrative data, so there's no clinical data, so they lack a lot of depth. They're also prone to duplication because if I get discharged and then I get readmitted and then I get discharged again for the same thing, there's no patient identifier, so they can't really tease out that duplication. It would be recorded as two separate discharges, but it's still just me. And finally, the new birth certificates definitely have positive public health implications in that they can be used to create a very robust database. Plus, the good people over at the National Center for Health Statistics provide standard worksheets and the training to use them, but obviously with only 31 states reporting, there's not much we can do so far. Well, that concludes a very, very short lecture on how C-section rates are reported. And thank you. If you made it through this, I really appreciate your viewing.